Hey everyone, it's Flakfire. The developers behind Battlefield 1 have finally revealed some major details about the game's maps and modes. So for this video, I'm looking at all of the maps and their historical implications, as well as giving you a rundown of the game's new War Pigeons mode. There are 9 maps launching with Battlefield 1: Ballroom Blitz, Argonne Forest, Fao Fortress, Suez, the St. Quentin Scar, Sinai Desert, Amiens, Monte Grappa, and Empire's Edge. Ballroom Blitz takes place as part of the offensives along the Meuse River in 1918. In the latter part of World War I, battle lines moved quickly, swallowing everything in their path. On this map in Battlefield 1, the fighting moves to a beautiful French chateau. The behemoth for this map is expected to be the armored train, since the map's description includes mention of a railway hub. We've actually seen glimpses of the Ballroom Blitz map in the game's trailers, but it's actually based off of a real-world location, the Château de Chantilly. Located about 30 miles from Paris, it thankfully didn't see much destruction in World War I. Over the course of the conflict, it was occupied by both German and French forces, and was also a hospital and camouflage workshop. Its inclusion in the battles of the Meuse-Argonne offensive is fictional, but it certainly makes for a compelling setting. Similarly, the Argonne Forest map is set in 1918 during the Meuse-Argonne offensive. It's said to feature bunkers, machine gun nests, camouflaged field guns, and brutal close-quarters combat. We've seen this map in Battlefield 1's trailers, along with what appears to be the ruins of the church at Montfaucon. This was a hotly contested location during the offensive and was completely destroyed during World War I. The Argonne Forest map will probably feature the armored train behemoth, since its thumbnail on the Battlefield 1 website features railroad tracks. The Fao Fortress map depicts one of World War I's earliest amphibious landings. The map boasts combat on both land and sea and close-quarters fighting inside the actual fort. In 1914, the British Empire needed to secure its oil interests in the Persian Gulf. The Ottoman Empire garrison at Fao Fortress threatened oil supplies and had to be dealt with. Soldiers of the Indian Expeditionary Force D captured the fort within 2 days of their initial landing, taking some 300 Ottoman soldiers prisoner. The Fao Fortress map will feature the Dreadnought behemoth, and it's likely it will mimic the fighting that we've seen in past amphibious assault battlefield maps like Gulf of Oman. Suez takes place, as the name would suggest, at the Suez Canal. The canal was a vital supply line during World War I, especially for the British, which made it a big target for the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans raided the canal in 1915, but were repulsed. It's not clear which behemoth will make an appearance on the map, but given the location, it's likely to either be the armored train or the Dreadnought. British defenses at Suez, particularly around Kantara, which is mentioned in the map description, included pre-Dreadnought HMS Swiftsure and battleship HMS Ocean. The one glimpse of Suez we've seen appears to include a warship in the canal. Personally, I'm really hoping to see rideable camels on Suez, since camel cavalry were used actually pretty extensively during the battle. We've seen plenty of the St. Quentin Scar map in Battlefield 1's Alpha. The fighting moves from the trenches to the untouched village of Travesey as part of Germany's Spring Offensive and Operation Michael in early 1918. The map will feature the airship Behemoth. Similarly, we've also spent a good amount of time with the Sinai Desert map in Battlefield 1's beta. This battlefield features plenty of sand dunes and vertical combat. Battlefield 1's website places the map's location at Bir al-Mazar, east of the Suez Canal. In World War I, British forces did raid Bir al-Mazar in 1916, which was a forward base of the Ottoman army. Ground combat there was allegedly so intense, Ottoman anti-aircraft guns ignored British planes to fire on the attacking ground troops. Sinai Desert features the armored train behemoth. The map Amiens takes place in the city streets and squares of the French city during the German Spring Offensive of 1918. Fight for the city's crumbling alleys, bridges, railways, and even a courthouse. Historically, the German army failed to capture Amiens, but in Battlefield 1, it's anyone's game, especially with the armored train behemoth bolstering the losing team. Monte Grappa features fighting high in the Venetian Alps. Austro-Hungarian and Italian forces vie for control over mountain forts and their massive cannons. A lumbering airship behemoth also rains death upon the enemy below. The map probably features the Battle of Vittorio Veneto near the close of World War I. The fighting in the Alps was some of the highest ground combat ever recorded, and the receding glaciers today reveal the bodies of those who fell nearly 100 years ago. The Empire's Edge map takes place on a rugged but fortified Italian shore in the Mediterranean. From the sounds of it, the map will feature amphibious landings, but no significant landings occurred on the Italian coast in World War I. The Austro-Hungarian Navy did shell the city of Ancona in 1915. It also raided the city in an effort to acquire Italian torpedo boats, which have been seen in the game's concept art. These events may be the inspiration for Empire's Edge. We also know Battlefield 1 has another free map on deck, Giant Shadow. I've covered that one in some detail in a different video, so if you're interested in more information, I'll leave a link to it here on the screen. I do want to take some time to talk about Battlefield 1's newest game mode, War Pigeons. This may seem like a goofy name for a game mode, but these pigeons actually played a vital role in World War I communications. In the War Pigeons game mode, opposing sides compete to use messenger pigeons to call in artillery barrages on the enemy. When the game starts, a pigeon coop with a messenger pigeon is placed somewhere on the map. Players will then fight for control of that coop. The team that successfully takes the pigeon and carries it to a safe location will then be able to write a message to call in artillery support against the enemy team. Standing still lets you write the messages faster, but it also makes you an easier target. It's not clear yet if new coop objectives will appear on the map to prolong the game. Either way, it's nice to see War Pigeons getting some love with this new mode. Many soldiers owed their lives to these birds, including members of the American Expeditionary Force's Lost Battalion. In the aforementioned Meuse-Argonne offensive, 9 companies of the U.S. 77th Division became encircled by German troops and endured 6 days of attacks. One of these attacks was an artillery barrage by friendly forces. The officer in charge of the bloodied American troops released a carrier pigeon named Cher Ami with the message, quote, "We are along the road parallel to 276.4. Our own artillery is dropping a barrage directly on us. For heaven's sake, stop it." End quote. Struck by shrapnel from an artillery shell, Cher Ami delivered the message despite having been shot through the breast, blinded in one eye, covered in blood, and with a leg hanging on only by a tendon. She lost her leg, but her message saved the lives of nearly 200 soldiers. Cher Ami was decorated with plenty of awards and medals for her efforts, and doctors even carved a tiny wooden leg for her. Interestingly, the game mode description also mentions dogs, which were also used to carry messages in World War I. There's no indication dogs will be included in Battlefield 1, but I'm still holding on to the hope of seeing the distinguished mutt Sergeant Stubby in Battlefield 1. For more information on his exploits, click the link on the screen. And that's all the Battlefield 1 news I've got for you today. What was the most interesting thing to you? The maps? War Pigeon mode? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share on websites like Facebook and Twitter, and of course, subscribe. Thanks for watching.